I'm Jack Roden, and I play Frankie Epps in Parade.
Thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. I am excited that this show is coming to town. This will be my first time getting to check it out.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward
good
to it.
track.
What can audiences expect to see from this show?
Can expect to be caught off guard. They can expect to see some pretty intense images and situations, but they can expect to see one of this isn't even me saying this. This is what I've been hearing. One of the best national tours ever put out, and they can expect to see just like a masterpiece of music and direction. It's basically like watching a true crime documentary that happened in this country mixed with an incredible love story, all that tied together by one of the best pieces of music and theater ever made.
Love that. Now, does the fact that this show is based on actual historical events kind of add pressure to you and your castmates, like when you're performing up there every night?
Sure. Yeah, it's intense, and we've done a lot as a cast to take care of each other. And we've been really lucky with our team that has set us up with great personnel to do that. And it's also been really special to travel around the country and see some of these places that are pictured in the actual show, on the back wall, just to be able to go to these places and just spend time there. Specifically in Atlanta, where the show is based, we got some time with a local Jewish rabbi, and he led us through some locations and said some prayers, and it was just so powerful. But yeah, it's intense, but it feels like we're doing a good thing. We're spreading a good message. So,
That's awesome to hear. I mean, I know it is very heavy content with a show like this.
right.
Um, for you, with your character Frankie, what how would you describe Frankie at the beginning of this story? What would you say drives him?
Oh gosh, Frankie is probably the most intense emotional arc in this show, actually, and which is funny because he's not the by any means the biggest character, but at the beginning of the show, he's really just a a kid that's in, infatuated with this girl, Mary Fagan, and he's just a proud boy and proud of his home and proud of his family and friends and where he was raised, because that's what was ingrained into these kids, and that's been the biggest struggle and point of contention is like Frankie believes in and is so proud of these things, which makes sense from what he was told and raised on. But as me, I have to kind of lose my opinions and morality about it, because obviously I don't agree, but I have to find ways to justify it.
Um, what has been the most challenging, I guess, part of playing Frankie? Is that would you say that's it is having to kind of like turn off that little switch in your own mind that separates you from Frankie a little bit?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a challenge. It's we've been lucky that it's such a long running show, so we've been able to just figure things out as we go, and I think that is definitely a struggle. Also, like I said, like his arc is pretty wild, like starting from this innocent child, then turning into this pretty like malicious, um, evil like man at the end of the show who ends up going to war himself. It's pretty intense, but like I said, the way that Michael, our director, set up the show is so nice because we're all on stage pretty much the whole time, so we can just have these moments that are really hard, and then we can go in our seats and just like take a breath and like let it go, which is nice. So
That is
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Um, For you, what does it look like when you're in your dressing room getting ready to take the stage every night? Do you have a ritual that you like to go through? How do you prepare?
Oh gosh. Um, yeah, I think my ritual, I gotta have a good meal. That's most important. Um, I need to feel like full before I go. If I go on an empty stomach, I'm gonna struggle. Chug water the whole day. I have my vocal exercises I do every day. Um, and then I do some breath work. Just make sure my feet are on the ground because it's a lot emotionally. So if I don't feel like my body and my facility is like muscle memory and doing its thing, then I'm gonna second guess myself. So we've done it 160 times at this point by this interview. So getting to do it that many times, it's really just, it's like clockwork, which is nice, but we stay engaged. So,
Excellent. What do you, for this show in particular, what do you find the most personally moving or impactful?
oh gosh. I think the character of Lucille is like she's like the point of the show in my opinion. It's obviously about racism and anti-Semitism in the United States, but it's I think like centered around this idea of this couple and how this situation brings them apart and then brings them back together and makes them fall back in love. And Lucille is this woman, and obviously at the time women's rights were unheard of, and she is such a catalyst for fighting for that and making Leo realize that she can she can help, she can change. I mean, she really did. This real woman, Lucille Frank, really changed the trajectory of this case, and which ended up changing the trajectory of this country. Truly, I mean, if people want to go read into it, it's truly fascinating how the Leo Frank case really changed the law of the land. It really switched things around, and to know that a woman in 1915 was the leader of that is pretty remarkable. So I think that's the most moving part for me.
I I love that. And I love that, having shows like this kind of helps keep retelling like these stories that shouldn't be forgotten. It's all about, especially now more than ever, I
Mhm.
think, having, remembering the parts of history that may be a little bit darker and uglier so that we aren't
Yeah.
doomed to repeat them.
Yeah, it's definitely an important one to tell. I mean, I had never heard of it like in school. I grew up in the South, and I was never taught about this. And so Parade was the only, I mean, I knew Parade because I'm a theater geek, but like growing up that was the only way I knew about it. And it wasn't really until I dove into this production that I like understood the weight of it, and like I said, like seeing the things. I mean, it just put it in perspective.
How do you, like you and the rest of the cast, kind of decompress after dealing with such emotionally heavy content with the show every night?
Oh man, it's everybody's kind of on. It's nice because we have such a nice group of people that is so there for each other. I heard somebody tell me actually last night, they were like, what I was watching was like everybody was so committed, and it was like everybody was doing a trust fall the entire show, and they were just falling and like letting themselves enter the story full force. But it was nice because they could tell we were all there for each other, and it wasn't personal, like we were just telling the story. And I think that's been the biggest learning moment for me because I'm a young actor. I just graduated a few weeks ago actually. So
Congratulations.
thanks. So getting to realize that you do not need to, you know, method act and trick your brain into thinking you're really there. Like you just have to earnestly tell the story, and and find ways to relate to the character and tell it honestly and vulnerably. And I think our cast really recognizes that. But also, like, on a technical aspect, we have affinity groups set up for different ethnic groups and religious groups, and we always lean on each other in that way. And then also, like I said, getting to just be on stage and watch things, and then do a song that's hard on you emotionally, and then we have audible breaths built into the show. If you see it, you can hear all of us after a hard moment probably take a breath, because it's like that's what we were told to do, and it helps us keep moving and do it repeatedly.
Awesome. Well, I,
Yeah.
I always like to end on this question. Why do you think Houston audiences need to come on out and see Parade?
Oh, Houston audiences need to see this because A, it's just a good show. Even if this wasn't true, it's just it's one of the best pieces of music and scripts ever made. But also, they need to see it because, like I said, like I had never heard of this, and the amount of people that come see our show that tell me they knew nothing about this is insane because it really was important to this country. And so I think, like, it's just a time to come learn. Like, it's a time to come, escape, your day-to-day life, but also like take a moment and reflect and learn about a new show, but also learn about a new story that really is important to the history of our country, which is going through trying times right now. So any any chance you can take to learn, you should take it. That's what I would say.
I don't think that I could say that better.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
good. That's a pretty good answer.
well, Houston audiences, you guys need to come on down to the Hobby Center. Parade is coming to town July 15th through the 20th. Tickets are on sale now at thehobbycenter.org. Jack, thank you so much again for your time today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'll see you
Absolutely.
guys there.
Absolutely. Thank you guys
Okay.
so much for watching. This has been Ray with the Houston Film Fanatics. We'll catch you guys next time. Uh, and come on down. Let's go see Parade together, all of us in the theater, July 15th through the 20th. Thanks, guys.